I'm going to share some meals with you. What we had this week was 1 pot Puerto Rican chicken and rice. I'm going to sprinkle the chicken with adobo. It's going to look like I sprinkle a lot, and I do. I don't think I added salt anywhere else in this dish, so this was plenty salt in the adobo. It wasn't salty. It looked like a ton. Adobo is very salty, but there was a lot going on in this dish, so I didn't put salt anywhere else, I don't think. And if I did, you know, it was great anyway. I'm gonna chop up some onion to go in this. Oh yeah, let's listen. Take a listen. Come here.
Bell pepper.
Bell pepper. I cut up some garlic there too. I'm interrupted 400 times a day. Each meal, each snack I make. Cutting up some bell pepper. Yes, the oven is hot. Here I am opening up a can of tomato sauce. I only use half that can. I put the other half in the freezer. Got my oil hot and I'm throwing the thighs in. I like getting all my ingredients prepped prior to cooking. It's something I've learned that I truly appreciate. My husband's putting groceries away in the back while I'm opening up a can of gandules, or pigeon peas. I'm gonna rinse those off, get those ready to throw in. You wanna have that? No. Chopping up my Spanish olives, cilantro, bell pepper, getting things prepped. Taking the chicken out, it's not finished cooking, but I don't want my fond to start burning, and I'm just gonna scrape the onions off, start cooking those up. I didn't heat up my pan well enough, so my chicken stuck pretty good to my Dutch oven. Not my best move. Dropping stuff, look at me go. Dumping some seasonings in there, stirring it around, finally getting those bits up at the bottom. Scrape it away. That's where all the flavor is. That's that umami. There's that half can tomato sauce. The rice I rinsed. Rinsing rice is key. There go the pigeon peas and some broth. It didn't look like broth, but it was broth. The olives went in and back goes in the chicken. So the next time I cook this, I'm going to use a different cooking vessel. Maybe a metal. Oh, and this is my side salad to go with the chicken dish. This pan, this Dutch oven didn't let the rice was mushy, basically. So I either need to use less liquid if I use that Dutch oven again, or use a metal pot. See if that'll help out. I'm gonna cut up some avocado, and don't try that at home, folks. You can cut your hand off. Some tomato. This salad was really refreshing. Went really well with it wasn't a heavy chicken dish, but I mean, it was hearty, that's for sure. I'm gonna roll that lime out so I can get some of the juice going. I think I measured it initially, and then I realized about 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons is gonna be, I think 1 tablespoon was about 1 lime. That's what I needed. I should have just squirted the whole lime in there and not wasted a dish, but here I am. Got some expensive garlic powder, and what is that? Looks like oregano. That's what it is, oregano. So I like to take my seasoning, break it open like this if I'm not gonna be cooking it, to, I don't know, open up the flavor, if you will. I've always crunched up my dried herbs that way. Oh, what was that sound? I think they're making a slide out of the mattress upstairs, what that sound was. Putting some pepper in there. You saw me throw some cumin in there. And I'm going to chop up some more cilantro. Hey, Jeremiah. I'm going to throw some shredded iceberg lettuce I found in the fridge into the bowl, along with the cilantro, tomato. We're going to scoop out the avocado. Every time someone vacuums, the kids go nuts. Use the best kitchen tools you have in your entire kitchen, aka your hands, and mix that on up. I didn't want to break apart my avocado. So cooked chicken thighs should be about 175. Chicken rises, anything really rises another 5 degrees when you pull it out of the oven anyway, so this was done. But I didn't like the way the skin looked, so I stuck it under the broiler, and it looked much better after that. My kids still eat things deconstructed, so I even had to pull the skin off the meat and just separate the beans from the rice. The adult plates look a little bit like this with a side salad. And that was that. This tonight, I didn't get to choose in which order I cooked my meals. I had to go by what was expiring first because Walmart did my groceries for me. I didn't pick it out. And what was expiring next was the fajita steak, which was just some top sirloin, or I don't know what it was. Anyway, I chopped up some steak, onions, and some bell peppers the long way, threw it all into a pan with some olive oil, and then I dumped some homemade, I make my own taco seasoning. Look at all that stuff behind me on that bookshelf way up there. When I get fed up, I just put stuff way up high, and by the end of the day, the thing is full. Throw some smoked paprika on that, and then just mix it up with the best kitchen tools you have, your hands, and mix it all together right there in that pan. And I throw it in the oven at about 400 degrees, and then on a cutting board, I chopped up some cilantro. I had that already chopped up, iceberg lettuce there. I chopped up some avocado, tomato. We had some lime. Then at the end of the corner of the counter, I had salsa. I squirted some sour cream, and I plopped some sour cream into a sandwich bag, and then I cut the corner off the sandwich bag so we could squirt it easily onto our tortillas. I pulled that steak out sooner than the bell peppers and onion because the overcooked steak would be chewy, and I watched it carefully, and I felt like the vegetables needed more time, and that's how we ate that. Then the next night we had cube steak Diane. The flavors were really good. It was just white grape juice, Worcestershire sauce, and butter, and Dijon mustard. And then, so I'm just gonna throw some butter in a pan. I'm gonna stick this baked potato in the microwave for 5 minutes, flip it over, and do 2 minutes more. That's how I did my baked potato because it's super fast, and I really can't tell a difference whether or not I cook them in the air fryer, oven, or microwave. The microwave is just way faster. Also, microwaves do not cause cancer. That is 1980s science. Flipping these over, you saw me throw some pine nuts in that pan because I'm roasting them for my green beans. It's one of my favorite ways to eat my green beans. I'm gonna whisk up this concoction. That's the grape juice, Worcestershire sauce. Throw my green beans in the microwave. Look at that. Stabbing it up, making sure it's done. That whisked concoction going into the Salisbury steak. I'm gonna put a lid on that and let it cook the rest of the way through. And then I pulled the pine nuts off the oven and then added the garlic powder and butter to it. You didn't see me dump it. It's beneath right there, beneath the green beans. I salted the green beans after that, and I'm just going to toss it together, and this is one of my favorite ways to eat green beans. I overcooked the pine nuts a little bit, but still pretty good. Great recipe. Then I'm going to pepper and salt. I already peppered, wasn't shown here. My Salisbury steak sauce, and I'm reducing it a little bit so it's thick. I'm cutting up the microwaved baked potato. I like to make little gashes in it so that the butter falls all the way down. Then I'm gonna use my favorite kitchen tools, my hands, and just dress my baked potato, or my microwaved potato rather, with some butter, salt, pepper. My husband likes a little sour cream. I like a little more sour cream. And behind me is the steak Diane, reducing to a more thick version of the sauce. The leftover, my oldest asking for a cup. I'm gonna finish up by garnishing with a green onion. My husband swoops in here at the end, and chaos ensued. I didn't get a picture because that's life with toddlers. Don't think for 1 second because I serve things like that, I don't also serve things like this. I just don't show you that kind of stuff because no one really cares. Do you? Okay, this recipe was really good. I'm gonna write it down in the description. It's a little mangled, as you can see. I couldn't get my picture to rotate, but don't worry because I'm gonna change up the recipe just a little bit, and I will write it all in the description because this was actually really good. I've salted and peppered my chicken breasts. I've got chopped up chive, half and half, some oil, nutmeg, mushroom, chicken broth, which I will be replacing the next time I make this with white wine. I've got my pan nice and screaming hot, throwing some chicken down, flipping it over. We're not cooking it all the way through. We're just getting a nice brown on it so we can get that fond started at the bottom of our pan. Always great if you're making a pan sauce to do it in something that isn't a nonstick because you want that fond to happen. Setting the chicken aside here and working on that fond. I'm gonna pour some oil, mushrooms, the chives, start scraping it up. I'm gonna dump also the chicken broth in here. It's gonna deglaze a lot better with the white wine and taste better too, in my opinion. But before we deglaze, obviously here I missed that, you're gonna add the flour, cook out the flour taste, get it all cooked out. Then I'm gonna add the chicken broth or white wine next time and deglaze the pan. Then slowly but surely, I will be adding some of that half and half. Whisk it in, add a little bit more, whisk it in until all of your half and half is incorporated, and you'll see it start to thicken up quite nicely. There's a secret ingredient in this sauce, and it is nutmeg. It asks for a pinch. Did you know they sell a pinch and a dash measuring spoons if you don't know how much a pinch and a dash is? Anyhow, it asks for a pinch of nutmeg, and after I've peppered it here, I'm going to salt it. I'm going to throw that pinch of nutmeg in there. The nutmeg was just enough to make you think, what is that? But it makes sense because an old Italian cooking secret is to throw some nutmeg in your ricotta or whatever you're using to make your lasagna. Anyhow, it was just such a nice touch. Really delicious. I could drink that sauce. Throwing the chicken back in to finish cooking, flipping it around, and then turning the heat down because we don't want to cook it too high. When you add some fat, like your cream, to the sauce, it can actually break apart if you cook it too vigorously. Throwing the juices back in there, don't want to miss out on those. So you don't want it boiling, you just want it on a real low simmer. I turned it down even yet at that point so that my sauce wouldn't break apart. Put the lid back on, and I did 7 minutes initially, but I think I did a total of 9. Kept checking it with my trusty thermometer so I didn't overcook it because I hate dry meat. And it was so delicious. I will make this again, and I'll do a couple things. I will do a couple things to it a little bit differently. All right, this last meal, I have no idea what was happening here, you guys, and I didn't even want to show it because I was very confused. I wrote down foolproof, page 137, and I looked everywhere for a cookbook. I have a ton of cookbooks. It was very hard for me to find. I wrote foolproof, so couldn't find the recipe book, but I did seem to have written the recipe down on the side here because I put the book away, never to be seen again, and thank goodness I wrote the recipe down because I kind of understood what was happening here, just enough for me to wing it. So it says soup, so in the grocery haul, I just took the two soups that I did buy, which were mushroom and celery. Sorry, my boys are running upstairs with their dad. They are Transformers right now. So Josiah and Jeremiah here in this video are my 3 and 4-year-old. Dumping in some rice-a-roni rice, 2 condensed cans of mushrooms, the packet of seasoning from the rice-a-roni rice. I'm not even sure if that's what was supposed to happen, but it did, and my son is stirring it around in circles. And then we added some water and a Lipton onion soup mix packet. I stuck the thighs on there, and for some reason I hit slow-mo, and that's just basically where this video ends. Nobody even ate this. It's in the freezer. Nobody has eaten this chicken. It didn't smell terrible. It smelled fine. The rice was mushy and disgusting, so I didn't serve that, or I didn't save that. I pulled the chicken thighs out and then kept it in the fridge for a day. Then Thanksgiving happened and nobody ate the chicken thighs, and I didn't have anything for sides, so I was like, let me just stick these in the freezer and then I'll shred up the chicken later. And that's what I did. So is it good? Don't know. Will I ever make it again? Absolutely not. No idea where this recipe even came from, and that's what we had. Well, that's what we didn't have. That's what I made. And I think we ended up having, actually I had the Salisbury steak patty that was left over, and I had that in a hamburger, and then we had some pasta that I had frozen. Didn't eat this though. Wish I would have been better at getting pictures of the finished dishes, but I didn't, and I'm going to try harder the next time I make one of these videos. It was just really hard. Toddlers make things, man, you start scrambling, and next thing you know, dinner is ending now, whether you want it to or not. Just like this video, all right? Ending it here. I'll talk to you guys later.